Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, and I say welcome back as in we missed a week. We very clearly missed a week. I was fell behind last week, a little bit sick, a little bit stressed with getting the expo together, which is going to be the first point of conversation for this episode, as the 2024 edition of the Stack Supplement Expo is online now. As you can see behind me, we shared it, we put it up everywhere. Basically, it is what we've been talking about for the last, I would have touched on it every episode for the last 2-3 months. And so for those who are not familiar with the Stacked Online Expo, it is basically our attempt at bringing everything you get from a traditional expo, like the Olympia, like the Arnold, like FIBO, Body Power, whatnot, but in the form of a website, digital experience basically. And so you can go on there, there's sales, there's deals, there's giveaways, there's information, there's education. Everything we can have at a regular online from a regular expo is there. That was the goal. That's always been the aim of this. And I think we've been doing it for close to 10 years. I know we skipped a few years. I have been notoriously shit with the keeping up with the history of the Stacked Expo, because originally started as Stacked Pro and it's evolved just basically to Stacked Expo. But yeah, go to stack.com/expo. Stackedexpo.com is another way to access it and check it out. So it's got a nice layout, very similar to, I guess, a traditional show. You've got North Hall, South Hall, East and West, and each of those halls is filled with, I think, somewhere around 10 brands maybe. I know our capacity is 50. A little bit more than 50 is just too much for us. I think we have mid-40s this time. We don't usually push too high because, believe it or not, the catch is, even though it's digital and the size is inherently limitless, you do have a limit on a person's attention. You go to a show, you're probably more okay with going to an expo or a convention center and walking around for a couple of hours, maybe even the whole day. You won't be wanting to spend a whole day on your phone. That's just the way it is. And going through a lot of these things on the Stacked Supplement Expo takes just as long as a regular show, taking in the information, reading all about it, watching some clips, some videos and stuff like that. So it is a time-consuming thing, and so we've always set it at 50, but check it out. Big brands in North Hall, South Hall, East and West. There's deals all over the show. We'll be sharing a lot of it over the coming days throughout the week. We like to highlight as much as we can a lot of the developments that people have brought to the show. We encourage innovation and excitement with the Stack show, kind of having like a week of excitement and releases and announcements. And I think we did it this year. It was another great year. A lot of announcements, a lot of developments and exclusive reveals mixed in there. And yeah, we'll be sharing it all. And if you have the time, I believe it didn't go up initially, but our all expenses paid trip to the Arnold will be in there. It is going to be going up alongside all of this. I think we're putting it up maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. I can't remember exactly how it's structured, but there'll be a notice on the expo for it. And then you'll be able to go to a page on the regular Stack website to basically enter. And that page, I will add, is going to be live until middle of December. I think we've set it. There'll be various things you can do to enter, and we'll be giving out several different ways to increase your chances, basically, in the coming weeks. So while there will be staple things like submit your email, follow us on Instagram, stuff like that to gain entry, there will be additional things like check this out, vote here, take part here. And in saying that, you might also want to check out our Ninja Creamy giveaway we did. We thought it would be fun to give out a Ninja Creamy, the legendary ice cream maker itself, where you can pour essentially anything in there and it turns it into sorbet, gelato, ice cream, whatever it may be. We thought we'd give one away, and it turned out to be one of our biggest giveaways in history. It's not sponsored or anything, purely just us buying the creamy, sending it your way. And I think we have well over 1,000 entries or something like that. That's ridiculous. It's done incredibly well, and you also get a type of protein powder there, so it's a hybrid giveaway per se. But that is it for the admin side. We're going to jump straight into the big announcements of the last week, and there were some tremendously big announcements. We're going to get started with what is basically, it's the first one I have seen of this kind. Not necessarily the way it's approaching, like the effects it's providing, but the method of marketing and the approach it's taking. And we are talking about Lemmy, Kourtney Kardashian's Lemmy, and their upcoming supplement GLP-1 Daily. Now, this is indeed a GLP-1 supplement, so some kind of, it's I hate to say and compare it to things that are on the pharmaceutical side of things, but it is along the same lines, or at least that's the approach they're trying to take and the mechanism and all that stuff, as GLP-1 diabetes medications. Ozempic, Mounjaro, I think, is another one that's a big one. And so basically it's trying to achieve weight loss, similar effects as that, but via supplementation, not medication, pharmaceutical, stuff like that. And so I have not tried this. I haven't. It's backed by 3 ingredients, the Lemme GLP-1 Daily. And I mean, this is the first of its kind purely because I've seen fat burners that promote similar benefits, like the end result of what this is trying to achieve, like weight loss and appetite and stuff like that. But I hadn't seen it called a GLP-1 fat burner. Now, we've all seen this term in mainstream media all over the show. It's been pretty full on over the past year, and you can't deny the rise in popularity in Ozempic. And yeah, so this would be, however, the first time I've seen that the GLP-1 called out in the name of the supplement and the category. So it's actually flat out called GLP-1 Daily, and it's a GLP-1 fat burner is what they're classifying it as. I would entirely expect this not to be the last. I would expect this to be the first of many we're about to see. In fact, I had heard of a couple others who are already in the works after this one was announced. This is backed actually by an ingredient that makes these claims. So it's not just the brand itself putting it out there and saying that it's a GLP-1 fat burner. It is very much the ingredients behind it. And so there are 3 ingredients in total. 2 you might be familiar with. I've seen them in a few other fat burners. There's Morosil, I think it's Morosil, red orange fruit extract at 400 milligrams, and then there's Suppressor saffron extract, which is known for its appetite suppression abilities. Then there is one other ingredient in there, and this is the one that is responsible for the GLP-1 benefits, and this is the one that I'm not familiar with. Now, I could be butchering the name. I'm going to try it anyway. Eriomin or Eriomin. It is a citrus, I believe it was a citrus. I'm just double checking, or is it lemon extract? Yeah, it was like a lemon extract blend or some sort of like that, and it has some GLP-1 benefits promoted for it. I'm trying to run it down now. So yeah, in clinical trials, participants saw an impressive 17 to 22% increase in GLP-1 after just 12 weeks of supplementation. And it also showed effects in the area of reduced inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and antioxidant improvement. And it also had, one of the studies showed that 24% of participants actually reversed their pre-diabetic conditions after using Eriomin. So it's a pretty solid ingredient. On paper, sounds damn good. Now, in real life, and I don't mean like that in a bad way, I mean like in the real world, it is a supplement. So I don't anticipate this being remotely like, oh wow, I'm going to replace Ozempic with this. It's tremendous. I would think this is going to be more on the lines of what is described by people, or the benefits described, or the experience people get from Ozempic or the GLP-1 agonists. But it would be along those lines, but maybe not even maybe, just nowhere near as substantial. But I guess on a supplement scale, impressive enough. And again, this is a supplement. This is over the counter. You can buy it straight from the store. It's gone live. It's going live at Lemme this week, I think. Now the price is up there. That is worth noting that the price is pretty damn high. I think it was $75 if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. I know it was up and around that area. They gave a price of how much it would cost on subscription, which is a discounted amount, which I thought was funny because obviously if you know you can buy it on subscription with this discount, you know that the regular price is much higher. So I thought it was interesting that they'd say that rather than pay so and so for a bottle and then get a little bit extra off at this price. So that it is high, it is expensive, and the promises and the benefits it's promoting, I guess, do justify that. But I would love to see what other brands do in this area, especially if other brands utilize this ingredient. Jesus Christ, I forgot the name of it now. Eriomin or something like that. I would be interested to know what they come out with. And the reason I say that is sports nutrition brands are notorious for just pushing the boundaries. And so I imagine we might get brands that utilize this ingredient in combination with a lot more than Suppressor and whatever the other one was that Lemme uses, and then kind of maybe pushes the dosages, pushes the value. That's sports nutrition brands are notorious for this, so I highly anticipate other brands doing this. And I would like to see that because, again, this is the first supplement I've seen with this ingredient. First real, I guess, GLP-1 fat burner we've come across. So if you get another one that comes in, at the very least, you'll have some comparison. If it's the same price, same value, its price tag's the same for the same amount of servings, then you'll get an idea on, yeah, cool, okay, so this isn't that expensive. This is just what the ingredient is. Very similar to other ingredients that come to market. Sometimes, GDAs are pretty pricey, and that's just because they are. You check out a whole bunch of them, they're all pretty premium, pretty pricey compared to your typical supplement, like say $30, $40, but they're all like that. Now, if there was just one that was high, rest were low, or one that was low, rest were high, it gives a good scale. So I would like to see how this evolves and where we go from here. And you can bet your ass we'll be sharing the more supplements. And I do believe I know a few that are doing it. So we know we'll be sharing more of these. And I haven't seen their formulas or their details yet. So I'm excited to see how this evolves and where this goes from here. Surprisingly, the first one being from Kourtney Kardashian's Lemmy. Now we shoot over to Apollo Nutrition, who I got to give it up to them. Apollo Nutrition, our two-time brand of the year, is notorious for just upping the ante on each of its reformulations. It reformulates on a regular basis, but when it reformulates, it makes things better. As you'd expect, they juice up the formulas like crazy, and this isn't just like a one-off thing. It's very common for brands to reformulate every 3 years, 4 years, sometimes 5. Apollo is closer to 1 to 2 on average, and that's not just one supplement. They do it with a lot of supplements. So they do regularly revamp, and when I say revamp, they juice it up. Now, sometimes it's not as big of a jump as the next, but when you frequently update supplements as much as they do, that's not surprising. Either way, Hooligan V7 launched last week, and holy shit. Now, we got our hands on this bad boy, and again, Hooligan is a powerhouse pre-workout, very much like any pre-workout from Apollo. They hit hard, they deliver in more than just energy and focus, but given that energy and focus is damn intense. Now, Hooligan V7 really just juices up everything, and in such an impressive manner. Hooligan was always considered the balanced pre-workout of the two from Apollo Nutrition, the other one being Assassin. That one's more energy and focus driven. This one is considered more balanced. It's got a little less energy focus, a little more pump and performance. Now in Hooligan V7, they juice that up even further, and I ain't shitting you. I'll rattle off the formula. To be honest, I said this to the brand themselves. I was like, it's very much like, so Lionheart was always my favorite pre-workout of theirs. Not as high energy, but more performance focused. Hooligan V7 feels very much like an infusion of Lionheart with the intensity of energy and focus of Hooligan. So again, the formula is damn good. So in that full scoop serving, do note that it is a full scoop, because I almost threw down 2 of these, but it is a single maximum. So if you want the half, you have to actually have half a scoop. So in that full serving, you get 10 grams of citrulline, 6.4 beta-alanine, a sizable 5 betaine, 4.2 of NO3T arginine nitrate, 3 grams of taurine, another 3 grams of tyrosine, 800 alpha-GPC, 600 theobromine, Himalayan pink salt, 350 milligrams of caffeine alongside 200 of dicaffeine malate, so together they provide 500 milligrams of caffeine. And then you have 100 milligrams of Synactive, one of my favorite everyday, just consistently used muscle building performance ingredients. And then you've got 50 milligrams of estrogen. It is a powerhouse of a supplement. And like I said, Hooligan was always the more balanced of the Apollo Nutrition pre-workouts. Now it is just a flat out beast of a balanced supplement. They've really pushed the energy and focus, kept it as heavy as usual. Like there's not an over intense amount of stimulants, but 500 milligrams of caffeine will kick your ass. And then you've got the tyrosine, you've got the alpha GPC, but 10 grams of citrulline, 4.2 NO3T arginine nitrate, and in combination with the Synactive and the 6.4 beta-alanine, the double dose of beta-alanine, again 5 grams of betaine, this thing delivers as much on pump and performance, if not more, than the energy and focus. And again, Hooligan was always somewhat, I say, more balanced than Assassin, but it still was pretty hard in energy and focus. That might be my new favorite. The 500 milligrams of caffeine is a lot less, not a lot less, but it's noticeably less than Assassin. But damn, we're probably going to have a review up shortly. I think I've taken it for a run twice. It's shit on its stick, it's a beast, but we'll have a full review up at some point. We like to use things for a few weeks before diving in and sort of giving a full breakdown. And yeah, stay tuned for that, but be sure to check that out supplement. Check the supplement on the website. Moving on from there, we're going to go over to Prime, the hydration giant, which actually today, this isn't the point of the story, but today they did a big announcement with Prime and Mr. Beast Feastables getting together and launching a packed lunch company called, was it Lunchly? I think it was Lunchly. So you get like a tiny bottle of Prime, a tiny Feastables chocolate, and then I guess a more traditional lunchtime snack, all in the one box. I thought it was a pretty cool power move from those guys, because you've got Logan Paul, KSI with Prime, then you've got Mr. Beast and Feastables coming together for what it feels like very much sort of a kid's lunch snack or a lunch box. There's 230 calories, 360 calories, I think. Again, very kids feel and vibe and market to it. So but it's got to put them in an aisle they just would never before, like alongside, I guess, packed lunches at the supermarket. And then you've got these smaller sizes. I mean, it's power move to them. Either way, the story about Prime, get back to the topic. They got 3 big announcements last week. First, they brought Glowberry to the UK, which wasn't initially the case. Glowberry returned last month, I think, but it was only in the US and Canada. There was no mention of it coming or going anywhere else, despite the fact that Glowberry first came to market. It was in Australia, UK, Canada, and America. That wasn't the case this time around. It returned in the US. Now it's finally gone to the UK. It is the exact same flavor as before, at least that's what Prime told us. And you do get both editions of the Glowberry. So there are 2 versions. One is like a spooky forest in the background. The other one's like a boiled acidic liquid thing. So both of those ones that are in the US are also in the UK. Then, again, this says a lot to the Prime action. They have launched a special edition reskin. I believe it's Lemonade, a reskin of Lemonade in partnership with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, it's Los Angeles Lakers colors, Lemonade flavor, so same drink as Lemonade, but you get just this awesome gold, purple design bottle. Now, I will point out, someone mentioned that it's only in Los Angeles. Now, or California, I think. That does make sense, obviously, being a partnership with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that was indeed the case, I believe, is the case with the Dodgers, the reskins of the Dodgers flavor or the Dodgers bottle of Prime that's out there. So if you are a collector, that's where you're going to have to go get it by the sounds of things. I didn't confirm, I don't know if that's entirely true, but it is where I kind of saw it, and I didn't see any confirmation though. So, but again, it does make sense. And the last story we got is very much the same again. So while they partner with Los Angeles Lakers, they've also partnered with the Toronto Raptors, another professional basketball team, but however up in Toronto, Canada. And they have put together 2 special edition reskins. I believe it is of Cherry Freeze. Yes, Cherry Freeze. And there are 2 versions of this. So there's one in white with red print, and there's one with black and red stripes, and both are for special edition bottles, in support of the Toronto Raptors. And from what I know, very similar to the Los Angeles Lakers being California, I believe these are exclusive to Canada. I don't think they're exclusive to Toronto. I could be wrong on that. I found a few of them online. A little hard to lock down location on that. I did hear about that being for the Lakers one, but yeah, so if you're a collector, and we mentioned this in the post, if you are a collector, while initially they brought out a flavor, they brought out a special edition bottle, they brought out a rare version. I tell you what, if you're a collector, you are having a hard time this past year, because they have been pumping them out like crazy, and they haven't just been special editions that have been hard to get. They have been just special editions that are hard to find and hard to locate. Again, these regionally locked ones, like the different versions that they had in the UK and Europe, now they've got them in Canada, then they have the one in California. You've got to hunt stuff down. So kudos to anyone who actually does have. I don't think it's very possible to have absolutely everyone, especially since you have the one of a kind that went to Kim Kardashian's son. Can't remember his name now. Saint West, Kanye West. They made 12 bottles of that. So again, if you're a true collector, you would want one of those. You've got the gold bottles. You've got the the red versus blue from the Fortnite collab. So those sold for, was it 150 grand or something? So yeah, it's very few that are going to have absolutely all of them. There might be one or two, but yeah, they're not making it easy for a typical collector who's not going to be able to get absolutely everyone out there, but as much as they can. Next up, we're going to jump to Raw Nutrition, who there was a picture that got out and we shared it, obviously, that's why it's coming up. Now what it is exactly is it's slimmer cans of the Raw Nutrition or Chris Bum said Bum energy drink powered by natural caffeine and cognizin. Now these were very, very interesting because they're 12-ounce cans. And a lot of people ask me about this. So one of the key features of Bum energy drink is that it comes in a 12-ounce can, but a soda can. So it's not your traditional slim and sleek Celsius or even the Prime energy drink or even Red Bull's Classic. Like, they're not those slim 12 cans, they are soda cans. And it's a cool feature because I don't really recall any other energy drink having that. Now the catch is that in some places you have just, when you'll see this if you go to a cooler, you'll have the 16-ounce area of energy drinks and then you'll have a 12-ounce area. Now I guess if you are a 12-ounce energy drink and you are in that soda can like Bum Energy, they might not have room for you. So last week an image came out of a 12-ounce Bum energy drink, but it was the slim can, that traditional Celsius type can. Now I didn't get confirmation on that, but I'm gathering this is an answer to that problem. So for those retailers that are like, hey, we've only got our coolers, they have those specifically wide, well, specifically slim width slots in their coolers, I am suspecting that this is to answer that. So for those brands that, or those retailers that have that, and maybe they want to stock Bum Energy and they want to bring it in and they want to jump on the train, they couldn't do that, I guess, with a soda can because the 12-ounce would look really out of place alongside the taller 16 ounces, but it wouldn't fit near the 12 ounces because it's much wider. I'm gathering this 12-ounce or the slim 12-ounce, classic 12-ounce energy drink is going to be an alternative to that. I don't think it's entirely replacing it just because that 12-ounce soda can of Bum Energy is so iconic and it's just a signature feature, but I imagine it's going to be somewhat of an alternative. There have been 2 flavors previewed of it, Champion Mentality and Root Beer. So it wasn't a full lineup, which again further suggests that this will be something for a specific area, and it wasn't confirmed as a complete repackaging. I think they would have made a big deal about it. So I imagine it is very much like retail specific. Some guys have only enough space and height for this size and that, and so they want to maximize that an opportunity. They probably had a few requests like, if you can put it in this can, we might bring it in. So I guess that's my guess though, and I think it's a pretty damn good guess. And so keep an eye out for that. If one pops up in a cooler near you, have at it. It is the same thing though, exactly the same thing. It is 12 ounces despite the taller, slimmer can. It is exactly the same. In fact, it's identical, as in it has the exact same volume of drink and ingredients and whatnot. So basically just a stage ready energy, if you will, trim and tall. And from there, we're going to shoot over to, got 2 more stories we're going to close out with. This last one is actually in regards to Animal Test, one of my personal favorites, muscle builders from Animal Pack Innovators. And Animal, in fact, I see it at Apollo Nutrition reformulate significantly more often than most. Animal is kind of the opposite. They don't change things that often. Now, when you get to be the size of Animal and other giants out there, this is common. Mostly because when you're in distribution in so many places and you have to do runs of so many units, you can't be reformulating that often. It takes so much longer to kind of replace everything. In fact, you see this when brands rebrand. It's not an instant change. You'll still find some of those old units just because their stock is very different. The stock strategy is very different to a smaller, more nimble brand. But so Animal doesn't reformulate supplements that often, but when it does, it's pretty notable. And they just did that with Animal Test. In fact, I don't think Animal Test has changed for as long as I can remember. And we've been around in the supplement space for over a decade. So I think this might be the first time. I could be wrong. Jason can correct me, or Jay can correct me, but I think this might be the first Animal Test tweak I've seen. This is in my time. I probably might have got tweaked way back before the classic iconic branding came into play. But so yeah, they've pretty much revamped the thing. So a lot of the core ingredients that made the original the powerhouse that it is and the reliable muscle builder that it is present. But the catch is it's now moved to full transparency, which we've seen Animal do with numerous other supplements. It just did it with Animal PM, its sleep supplement. So now you get that full transparency treatment with Animal Test, so you know exactly how much of each dose is in every serving. This wasn't the case with the previous version. A lot of the ingredients were wrapped up in proprietary blends, but all of those ingredients that were in those blends, I think maybe 1 or 2 are not in there, but have been carried over to this new version. And you get basically a better picture of what you're having. It outlines, you get a solid full dose of 1.25 grams of arachidonic acid, and that's at that 40% soft gel standardization, not the significantly lower amount that you get if you buy arachidonic acid in capsules or powder. They've also, I believe there were 2 key additions. So a lot of the other things are still in there, and the 2 key additions, I believe, is Long Jack, 200 milligrams, and then a full dose of the gold standard, the just immensely studied KSM-66 ashwagandha at 600 milligrams. So really nothing to complain about here. They've just made it better thanks to Long Jack and KSM-66. Full doses of the KSM, and again, alongside pretty much an intact Animal Test formula, which, as I said, was already one of my favorites. So you've just made it better. I don't think Animal fans will be at anyway disappointed. In fact, when you get a reformulation, this is exactly what you want. You want better, you want bigger, you want more. Animal has done it. It doesn't do it often, but when it does, it makes sure it does do it better. And the last 3 we have is arguably the biggest beast of the week, and this is Core Nutritionals, who came out with, they teased a big announcement. They teased that they had a big collaboration coming, and they were not pissing around. They have partnered with the Transformers franchise, famous Hasbro franchise, Transformers, toys, comics, movies, games, cartoons, you name it, they've done it. And they've done it over decades. Now they've gone to supplements, and Core Nutritionals has created an entire series around Transformers. And I gotta give it to them, a big round of applause. They haven't just done a flavor here or this there. They've gone all out. Very similar to what we saw with Fun Sweets, Cotton Candy, and what was the other one they did? The Moose Tracks. I would think this is actually even more so. So they've created 3 supplements specifically for this partnership. There's Energon, which is a pre-workout. There's Protron, which is a protein powder. And then there's Allspark, which is a hybrid amino acid electrolyte formula. So kind of your classic amino cocktail intro workout. And yeah, so those formulas or those supplements are not available, well, weren't previously available from Core Nutritionals. The formulas that you get and these supplements in themselves are entirely new. So none of these are, like, it's not Core Fury renamed Energon. It's not, I guess, Core Pro rebranded Protron. These are completely new supplements. The formulas are solid, as you'd expect from Core, and they've put together an entirely different look. So obviously, being Transformers, they have indeed given them a full-on Transformers theme. Like, if you saw Core supplements and then Transformers, you wouldn't think it's the same brand. They've gone super deep and put together some damn cool labels, custom lids, custom safety seals. Inside each tub is also a collectible figure. I believe there were 32 or 33? I think it was 32. 30 something, we'll say 30 something. I'm pretty sure it was 33 or 32. Either way, inside each one is a collectible, and they do change. And so it's not like you can buy 4 tubs of Protron and get the same one. It will be different. And to add to that, if you are a collector, you're going to have a hard time finding it, because as I said, there's 32. 33, that's going to bug the shit out of me. I think maybe it was more than that. Yeah, so there's quite a few to the whole thing. And there are nine SKUs altogether, just to give you an idea. And so all up you have, as I said, there's Protron, Allspark, and Energon. Each of those supplements comes in 3 flavors. And each of those flavors is themed around Optimus Prime, Megatron, or Bumblebee. Now, so basically what that means is you get Protron in a Bumblebee, Optimus, Megatron flavor, Allspark, so-and-so, and then Energon, so-and-so. So again, that flavor, while again it has that nice consistent theme, so Bumblebee star on each one, across those 3, the flavor is only the same between Energon and Allspark, which does make sense as their amino and pre-workout, their flavors are usually the same. Protron, the flavor is mixed up. It's more of your classic protein smoothie milkshake type approach. So for Optimus Prime, This is going to be difficult. So for Allspark, there is Allspark and Energon come in sour lemon candy and mixed berry kiwi. Is that right? I'm gonna mix the shit out of this one. And yeah, so I'm just gonna read them out. So sour lemon candy, mixed berry kiwi, and blood orange passion fruit for Energon and Allspark, and then Protron. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So I was counting it wrong. And then vanilla, honey graham, mixed berry cheesecake, peanut butter cookies and cream for Protron. So again, each of those flavors is represented by one of those three characters, and then that character represents a specific flavor for each supplement. So there's like a whole Transformers series, there's a whole Bumblebee series, there's an Optimus Prime series, and yeah, it's a pretty full-on thing. I gotta give it up to them. They really went all out. They teased that it was going to be big, and they did not disappoint. So kudos to them, and I believe it's launching this coming Friday through Core's website. Definitely count on some bundles. I imagine there'll be some substantial bundles where you can get discounts on the whole series, maybe individual character series, maybe I don't know what it is, but stay in the loop. We'll be sharing it just because I know that people love to collect everything, especially when it's Transformers or pop culture related like this. So yeah, stay locked as always on the website. That is it for this episode. Stay tuned for the website because we do have a lot of, I say that every time, but we have a lot of announcements coming this week, especially regarding the Stack Rewards program, which is getting a bigger extension this week. And yeah, as always, share it with your mom, your dad, brother, sister, friends, and family. That's all we need, is just constant sharing and supporting of the website. And thank you for this episode. I look forward to having you back next time.